One Single Life was a very highly experimental, uh, I guess, experience, not only for us, but definitely for the player. We wanted as many people to be able to experience it as possible. We knew from testing that we had done leading up to it, we knew that there was going to be a certain demographic of people who just wouldn't pick it up and buy it and play it because they were too scared that they were just going to die early on and waste their dollar or their $2, whatever it is. So I made a business decision at that point to say, okay, let's err on the side of giving our fans something awesome to play, knowing that we're going to bring out One Single Life 2, and hoping that, enough of our fans return to play the sequel, which is a paid app. It'll be released for $1.99 US next week. So One Single Life 1, let's make it as widely available to every player, give them no excuse not to download it and at least try it. It was one of those things where I'd speak to people about it and they're like, oh, wow, that's different. And there was a lot of people who said, well, that's different, you shouldn't do it, there's only one life. It didn't worry me. Both those replies or responses were good because they were both at least memorable. People took that away and they remembered that game, whether they liked it or they hated it. It was memorable. So I didn't need to do a heap of market research, and in fact I didn't want to with One Single Life because I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag too early. This was coming, and therefore, who knows whether somebody else would have picked it up. I don't know before us, but we chose not to do much market research for that. We will do more and more market research, particularly for sequels. We do have analytics built into our game now, so we use a particular product called Flurry, although we might use another one in future. But so we can see, based on it gives us real-time tracking of the game events, so we can see what level people are dying at, we can see what scores they're getting, we can see how many people are clicking on the shop button, we can see how many people are playing the credits and viewing their deaths on the stat cam and so on. We can track a lot of this stuff, which is good feedback for us as well too. So we can measure and see what people like and don't like, or what they're choosing not to do in the game. So that's kind of crucial as well.
You have to see, like, Hocker is just the app is just a showcase to show that the technology works, and to have a glimpse on all the possibilities how you can use Hocker. As you stated, there is the Hocker wall, and you can use it for transferring pictures, videos, text. On the one hand, we want to establish Hocker as an own brand, and on the other hand, we will provide other companies with the technology to use Hocker in their own products. So that won't be a problem. I think, like, if a lot of people get used to Hocker and the way it is used, they want this convenient way of exchanging data or exchanging information to use in their other applications. So we are quite positive that it's able to monetize it. Yeah, starting from now, I mean, like, there is like a big opportunity to implement the Hocker functionalities into other apps. For example, if you want to realize, if you want to make a payment app and you want an easy way for the customer to transfer money or goods from one customer to another, and all people have smartphones, but it's very hard to let them communicate with each other ad hoc. So I think the Hocker technology, which is basically a cloud-based service with an API, so you can access it with your own application, is that this technology will come more and more in use in all these in all these places where you try to make a transaction. So we are looking forward and thinking, since that, for example, I think Google is now every day activating over 400,000 Android devices. This is like a big market, an exploding market. In a few years, everybody will have a smartphone. So you need an easy way to transact things that don't have to be money, but as I stated, virtual goods. So I think we are looking into a bright future.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that we're the only ones doing it as well as we do. But I think that, yeah, this is definitely the future of learning, right? A lot of people are experimenting with cool stuff on tablets. A lot of people are using the internet more to transform learning. I think we're sort of at the beginning of a new educational boom in like web startups. People are just sort of starting to realize that education is not as small a market as people, originally thought it was. I think, we actually started doing something totally different, right? So we were doing a product that wasn't similar to what we're doing now. And I think the most important thing that we've learned is it's really much easier to wake up, and for us, that's our full-time job. So for us, it's much easier to wake up and do what we're doing because we're so excited about what it is. So that's been sort of the biggest lesson that we've learned, is that it's a lot easier to wake up in the morning and, work 18-hour days when you really enjoy what you're doing, as opposed to like doing contract work or working on a project that you think will make you really wealthy, but that you don't enjoy. So I guess that's the biggest philosophical thing that's come out of all this. Okay. Yeah. So I think mobile is obviously extremely important, right? I think what we're doing is one of the few products that, it really needs a desktop, right? So I don't think you're going to see people move from developing on computers to developing on iPhones anytime soon. But even for pretty much any other product, you really have to consider mobile when you're even thinking about what the product should look like, right? It's become so important because, you think of places like India and places like China where there are a lot of people who are getting mobile phones before they're getting computers. Yeah. So they're just totally skipping over computers to begin with, and mobile is going to be the device of the future. And with everything that's included in a mobile phone, whether it's your location or whether it's Bluetooth or a camera or a microphone, it's really the whole package of sensors and whatnot to keep track of your life and to network with other people much better than computers do, I think. I think it depends on how the market receives it, right? So the way right now I think most people think about mobile is that the iPhone and Android are the two biggest platforms. RIM is like a distant third. And Windows, I think, is around that level, unfortunately. Just until it gains as big adoption as the iPhone and Android have, I think it'll be hard for developers and hard for us, to prioritize developing for it because there are just not enough users on the platform. Yeah.
Well, Matthias, I see mobile as technology that will dominate the entire market of fixed location computing, the old desktop way of using computers. When it comes to being online, using phone services, watching TV, or in any way actually interacting with a screen display, the use of the old school personal computer will suddenly disappear in the next years.
Okay.
I don't think it will have too much of an effect, actually. All we need when the old desktop way of computing disappears is adaptation to this new paradigm shift. The technology will change, but it will remain in the way that we will continue to use it, but just adapting to new behaviors. I don't see the Windows Phone dominating in the near future. I really don't. I use a Windows Phone, but the platform, it has very few apps compared to the Android or iOS market. We'll have to see what comes out with the new version of the Windows OS and with the Nokia phones and all, and I know it will take some market shares, definitely. But if Windows Phone fails this time around, then Nokia will continue losing, and I don't know what happens then, but it don't look pretty.
NFC is huge. Broadcast television to your mobile phone is huge. I think those are two things that we've had the better part of 5 years with here, and that you're just sort of starting to see come into other markets now. Yeah, when I can take my phone and tap it on something, and that need not necessarily be for a payment, right? Everybody's looking at it as like your mobile wallet. Well, look in your wallet, right? And especially for students, I'm guessing there's a lot more in your wallet than money, right? So when they say mobile wallet, of course, everybody's looking at the dollar sign. But the reality is that, well, yeah, of course, that's pretty straightforward. But there's a lot more to it than that, right? So, I mean, here's a simple example. I can put, my mobile phone to somebody else's mobile phone, and we swap contact information, right? I have their business cards that are in my contact list. I have their photo and their phone number and their email address, and I got all of that just by basically tapping two phones together. So you could be looking at an LCD screen, in a store or in the subway station or whatever. It's got a little pad beside it. Swipe your phone on the pad. Now whatever's on the screen's on your phone, right?
Just quickly jumping in there, something that's on our young innocent app minds a lot these days: Windows Phone. What
Mango rocks? Look out for Mango, buddy. Look out! It's Yeah, where do we start with that? I was at the Mix event in Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas at the end of April when they unveiled Mango. There was about 4,000 or 5,000 .NET developer geek guys there, and we got to spend some real time in the workshops, hands-on with rocking devices, and it was like, wow, this doesn't suck, man. This is this is going to be interesting. So I think that, of course, the vested interests, two turkeys don't make an eagle or whatever. It's like, well, laugh all you like, but I want to see where we are in 2 years from now. Because if you were to white label the devices, like if you were to just put them on the same black box with no branding whatsoever, and then, do a focus group with like regular people, not the bleeding edge geeks that blog and tweet all day because they got nothing else to do, I guess, whatever. I would strongly suggest that the Mango, and so for what it's worth, I think they actually have Tango now. I don't know if you've caught that, but 7.5, there's a 7.8 build, which is called Tango. Nonetheless, the next iterations of Microsoft's Play are seriously competitive to what's existing now. Here's a good rule of thumb. Never short those monsters, right? Never short a Microsoft or a Nokia, right? They didn't get to where they are because they were lucky and stupid, right?